Europe's first mission to Mercury is completing its first flyby. The Bepi Colombo spacecraft will fly by the planet at high speeds, taking pictures of the planet and sending them back to Earth as it does. It's moving too fast to go into orbit, but will begin more detailed observations in 4 years' time. Well, Emily Lakdawalla is a planetary scientist. She's been following this mission closely and joins us live from Los Angeles just now. Emily, very good afternoon to you there in LA. Tell us, what does this mission hope to achieve?
Well, this mission is a flagship mission, a huge mission with a lot of plans to do science at Mercury. It's following up there's only been 2 previous missions to Mercury, one a long time ago, Mariner 10, and then more recently NASA's Messenger mission. And this one, Bepi Colombo, is designed to answer a lot of the questions raised by that Messenger mission.
So we mentioned in the introduction there, the spacecraft is shooting past Mercury. It's not actually landing on the planet, is it? What are we watching for in the coming hours?
Well, the main thing that this flyby is supposed to accomplish is to alter the orbit, alter the trajectory of the spacecraft as it goes around the sun. They would love to be able to enter orbit right now, because that's, after all, the goal of this mission is to orbit Mercury for a couple of years and gather lots of science data. But it's very difficult to enter orbit at Mercury. It's a very small planet, and the gargantuan gravity of the sun is very close by. So they'll have to fly past it a total of 5 times before finally entering orbit in 2025. So really, all they really want to hear is that the spacecraft is healthy and safe, and its trajectory is exactly what they want, but they'll also be getting some science data from this encounter.
You mentioned the aircraft staying healthy and safe. This is obviously very close to the sun. How does the spacecraft protect itself from that incredible heat and that radiation?
Well, it carries a sun shield. It actually has one side of the spacecraft that's designed to be pointed at that hot surface of the sun, and a lot of the other instruments and systems of the spacecraft hide underneath it like an umbrella. And so that does limit the directions that the spacecraft can point. Once they're in orbit around Mercury, their instruments are designed in order to be able to stare down at the surface of Mercury. Until then, a lot of the instruments are actually completely hidden inside the spacecraft right now. So a lot of them don't actually have a view out. But many of them don't need a field of view. There are things like magnetometers and dust counters and other stuff that are operating just fine through the flyby and will be taking data throughout.
Why is this research so important? I mean, it's not like humans are planning to go and live on Mercury anytime soon, is it?
Well, that's definitely true. Humans do not intend to land or live on Mercury. Although there is one interesting thing about Mercury. There is water ice in the poles of Mercury. It has impact craters that have dug deep holes into the poles. And because there's a hole at the pole, then the sun doesn't shine in the bottom of the crater, and it can actually have water ice down there. And so there is actually a resource there if humans ever did want to go. But no, this is mostly about scientific curiosity. It's about curiosity about Mercury, about how it formed, about some very strange aspects of Mercury, like why its magnetic field is so offset, why there's so much carbon on the surface, why its core is so big. And a lot of these questions feed into a much bigger question, which is, how did our solar system form in the first place? And that does lead back to us, because it is to answer the question of how we got here, about how our solar system generated an Earth that could support life. And in order to answer that question, we need to look at both ends of the solar system, Mercury, Pluto, and beyond, and everything in between, to try to understand how we came to be.
OK, we'll leave it there. I'm sure this will be keeping you up all night. Emily Lakdawalla in LA, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.